Prince Harry is forever a soldier, and in this moment he's proven himself to be the very reflection of what impressive stand-on-business royalty can be when the chips are down. He's the son of the commander of the armed forces, yet he's been the one to speak out so eloquently in their support, and immediately, without hesitation or the hand-wringing calculations that seem to paralyse those still within the palace walls. Both Harry and Meghan showed, and still do show, the kind of instincts and qualities as working royals that the working royals did not have the inclination to want to be. The courage to lead from the front, the willingness to put principle above protocol. But that very integrity put a target on their back from the royal family and drove them out, because heaven forbid someone actually something meaningful with the platform they've been given. To spare King Charles's embarrassment in his deafening silence, the tabloids' front and inner pages have not written about Harry's statement with any prominence, burying it where they hope it won't be noticed. And I see that royal reporters like Roya Nicker, who are dedicated to making Harry and Meghan's life a misery at every turn, have posted his statement and AOE'd Trump on both his personal and official president account, desperate to poke Trump, to provoke him into taking action against Harry that might make his life miserable. Even as he's defending his country and the soldiers he served alongside, she is trying to attack him, then wonders with feigned confusion why he doesn't want to return to be in proximity to such toxicity. Prince Harry's soldier's instinct, a swift defence of British troops, Harry's response to Trump's dismissal was nothing short of remarkable. He spoke out eloquently and immediately in support of British troops, demonstrating the swift and decisive action that this matter of national importance demanded. This wasn't the carefully choreographed statement of a royal PR machine. This was the instinct of a true soldier, a man who served 2 tours in Afghanistan and knows intimately what sacrifice means. Despite his royal status, or perhaps because he understands what that status should truly represent, Harry showed the kind of leadership that speaks volumes. When his fellow servicemen and women were dismissed and disrespected, he didn't equivocate, he didn't wait for permission, he didn't calculate the political ramifications. He simply stood up, as any good soldier would for their comrades, and spoke the truth that needed to be spoken when it needed to be spoken. The soldier within royalty, Prince Harry remains forever a soldier at heart, and it is this identity, forged in the deserts of Afghanistan, not the gilded halls of palaces, that defines his true self. His immediate and eloquent defence of British troops reflects impressive stand-on business qualities that royalty can embody when service transcends ceremony, when duty means action rather than appearance. He understands what it means to serve because he has served, to honour those in uniform because he has worn it himself, and to speak for those whose voices are often drowned out by political expediency because he has stood beside them in harm's way. This is royalty that knows the weight of service and honour above personal position, that recognises the man in the trench deserves the same fierce defence as the man on the throne. Perhaps more so because the soldier bleeds for his country while the sovereign merely represents it. A son of the armed forces. He is the son of the commander of the armed forces, and yet he is the one speaking out when others remain silent. That itself tells you everything you need to know about courage, about duty, about what it means to truly stand behind those who serve. His father's position prevents him from doing what Harry has done, immediately, eloquently, without hesitation. But Harry carries no such constraints, and so he demonstrates the courage to act where protocol and position have rendered others mute. It is a remarkable thing, isn't it, that the one who could speak freely chose to do so on behalf of those who served alongside him, while those who should have spoken first said nothing at all. The royal qualities that made them outsiders. Both Harry and Meghan showed and still do show the kind of instincts and qualities as working royals that the working royals did not have the inclination to want to be. They possessed the very characteristics that the institution desperately needed but couldn't tolerate. A genuine commitment to meaningful service and engagement that went beyond photo opportunities and ribbon cuttings. Their approach represented a modernized vision of royal responsibility, one rooted in authentic connection rather than ceremonial distance, in speaking truth rather than maintaining studied neutrality. But that authenticity, that willingness to actually stand for something beyond preserving the status quo, put a target on their backs from the royal family and drove them out. The very qualities that should have made them invaluable, their instinct to speak up, their refusal to be merely ornamental, their understanding that service means more than simply showing up, became the reasons they couldn't stay. The price of principle. Their principled stance, their willingness to speak truth, to act with moral clarity when it was most inconvenient, created a target on their backs that has never been removed. They faced opposition not from external forces alone, but from within the royal family itself, an institution that preferred polite silence to uncomfortable truth, that valued perceived neutrality over actual courage. And so they were ultimately driven away from their roles and proximity to the institution, not because they failed at being working royals, but precisely because they succeeded at being the kind of royals the institution could not tolerate. Ones with instincts for justice, with the courage to stand on business when it mattered most, with the audacity to believe that duty meant more than just showing up and waving. Prince Harry's principled defence met with strategic silence. The tabloids have avoided giving prominence to Harry's statement, and the omission speaks volumes. This silence appears designed to spare King Charles embarrassment, for in highlighting the son's swift defence of British troops, they would inevitably spotlight the father's conspicuous absence of words. It reflects an institutional reluctance to acknowledge Harry's principled action, a collective decision to bury what should be celebrated because doing so would expose the vacuum where leadership ought to be. The media machinery that usually amplifies every royal utterance has suddenly found itself afflicted with selective muteness, prioritizing the protection of palace optics over the recognition of genuine moral courage. They cannot praise Harry without indicting Charles, and so they choose to say nothing at all, as if a statement this significant might disappear if they simply refuse to see it. Royal reporters as political actors. What we're witnessing here is something far more insidious than journalism. It's the deliberate weaponization of media platforms for personal vendettas. Dedicated royal correspondents like Roya Nika, who have made entire careers out of tormenting Harry and Meghan, have now crossed into genuinely dangerous territory. She didn't just report on Harry's statement defending British troops, she actively tagged Trump on both his personal and official presidential accounts, a calculated provocation designed to manufacture consequences for a man whose only crime was defending the service and sacrifice of his fellow soldiers. This is a reporter attempting to summon the power of the American presidency against someone for making a patriotic defense of their own country's armed forces. Think about the audacity of that for a moment. And then these same people, the ones actively trying to orchestrate punishment and misery for him from foreign governments, turn around and perform bafflement about why Harry doesn't want to return to the UK to be within their reach. The answer is staring them in the face, because they've shown him exactly who they are and what lengths they'll go to in order to harm him, even when he's doing something as fundamentally decent as standing up for veterans. The cost of courage: attacks while in defence. The bitter irony is staggering. Even as Harry defends his country and stands up for British troops with the kind of immediate principled clarity that should be celebrated, he faces simultaneous attacks from those who claim to represent British media and interests. Royal reporters like Roya Nika, dedicated to making Harry and Meghan's life a misery, have weaponised his very statement of defence, posting it and tagging Trump's personal and official presidential accounts in what can only be described as a desperate attempt to poke the president into taking action against Harry that might make his life more difficult. Even in the moment of defending his country, she is trying to attack him, then has the audacity to wonder why he doesn't want to return to be in proximity to such relentless hostility. This is the true cost of his principled stance. Not just speaking truth when others remain silent, but enduring coordinated cruelty from the very establishment that should be thanking him, all while they work to spare King Charles's embarrassment by burying the story that exposes the family's moral vacuum.